Oh, we are going live here. So excited that all of you are with me. It looks like we've got a crowd coming in, and I've been reading all your comments. Everybody that's joining us from all over. We have, oh goodness, lots of different areas. We have Lori from Oregon, um, Amina. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, from India. That is exciting. We have Michelle from Georgetown, Texas. We have Shauna from Ontario, Canada. Mystic from Iola, Kansas. And some of you are pre-op, some of you guys are post-op. Um, it looks like we have Miss Robin from South Carolina, Simon from St. Louis. You know what? ProCare office, our sponsor, is actually located in St. Louis. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. I'm from an area that's about 80 miles south of that little town called Perryville. But it looks like Leslie's from Kansas City, Missouri, and she's pre-op. We have Gina from Kids, Seattle, Washington. We have Delaney from mid Missouri. We have all kinds of Missourians. I love that. We have Elsie from Columbia. We have Kathy. Kathy joined us earlier. Thank you for being back. She's post-op 33 months. We have Danielle post-op. We have George 6 months post-op. We have someone from California. We have somebody from Palm Bay, Florida. Let's see here. Tony says pre-op. So I want to welcome each and every single one of you guys. You make a difference here in this group, and whether you're listening live or whether you're listening to the replay later, we love you being here, and please use that chat box. Also, we have a little button that says ask a question, and you can put all your questions there while we're doing the broadcast. Usually, Brittany, my colleague, joins us for these, and she was unable to join us tonight. So I miss her. We all miss her, and she'll be back on our next live. So we also have another button that says support group handouts. Click here. I'm actually going to change that because we don't have any handouts tonight. I'll just put on there our website, ProCare website, so that you guys have access to that later. So I'm typing that in, and seeing here tonight we're talking about 12 strategies for ordering or eating out after weight loss surgery. So get prepared for that. The ProCare, our website is procarenow.com. I'm typing that in. How many of you guys are new? How many of you, this is your first time? How many of you guys have been with us before? Let me know. Jill says, "Oh, but the air fryer recipes were great." Thank you. I'm glad you like those. We have done all kinds of events here. If you're new to us, I'll post our Crowdcast channel, which is we do weekly live events. So every week, and we do monthly support groups. So every week we do a different topic. Every month we do a support group. So I'm going to post that. If you go to the link that I am posting later, you can follow us and you'll get notifications if you're not already of new topics that are coming in. And usually a notification will pop up about 10 minutes before something starts. And if you ever can't listen to a topic and you want to listen to it later, you can always go back and listen to the replay, just like this will be recorded as well. One other thing that I haven't been mentioning on our lives is that we have if you have a smartphone, okay, good. I'm glad my sound is working. Um, let's see. If you have a smartphone, we're going to go to your app store, and there's an app called Crowdcast. Hope you guys can see that. And it tells about all the different events that are upcoming. And if you're kind of like me and you listen to a lot of stuff on the run, like I listen to stuff in my car, I listen to stuff while I'm taking a walk. Um, it's just kind of a nice little thing to an app like that to be able to listen on your phone. The pictures and things like that are small because you only have a little section as opposed to a big computer screen. But that's another way to watch if you weren't aware of that. So let's get started. um, we're going to be talking about, like I mentioned, 12 strategies for ordering or eating out after weight loss surgery. And for those of you who are kind of new, some of this might be new information. For some of those of you who have are post-op and a little further out, you might be able to add to this conversation and let us know some tips and tricks that you have. So after weight loss surgery, sometimes, and I'm going to say once you can tolerate solid foods, because that's usually when people start going out to eat. A lot of restaurants don't offer a lot on the liquid menu. Some do, but a lot of them don't. But when you're ready to try something new, and I know that our world right now is a little different. A lot of restaurants have closed or back open, vice versa. But when you're able to dine out, I guess eating out can be both fun and sociable. It's that time. And I think part of it is highlighting that relationship, the people you're with, celebrating them, and leaving feeling content, satisfied, but not physically uncomfortable. That's the biggest thing. And also feeling comfortable about those you're around. So let's get started. I'm going to kind of watch the chat box. So please feel free to send messages. It looks like there's a lot of you. It's your first time. It's Tony's third time. It looks like Blaney, George, Michelle, Robin, all their first time, and Tony's third time. So we have a little mix here of different things. I also have a gift for those of you who stay on the call. We offer discount codes, and I'm going to be offering you one of those towards the end. So if you miss that, come back and listen to the replay if you have to jump off early. So number one, we're going to just start. And I usually have like a lot of graphics and pictures and things like that. Today, I just want it to be about me and you. We're going to be interacting. And hello, Tanisha. We're going to be interacting and we're going to be just sharing. Okay. So you're not going to see me screen share a whole lot. Maybe towards the end, I will just to kind of show you some fun things about ProCare. But other than that, it's just going to be sharing. And it looks like Cindy's second time and Elsie's second time and Aaron's second time. Wonderful. Thank you. Um, the first tip that we're going to talk about is planning ahead. Okay. And what I mean by planning ahead is if you don't already know the restaurant, maybe do a little bit of searching, kind of look at their menu, kind of decide maybe even ahead of time, maybe what you want to order. Sometimes menus will be posted online and you can kind of take and look at that. A lot of them will be on a website, and a lot of restaurants have went online because of all of the COVID restrictions and stuff. And instead of handing out a menu, they'll have you take your smartphone, use a QRC code and pull up the menu that way. So the big thing is looking at portion sizes. For me, one of the biggest things going to a restaurant, portion sizes are huge for somebody who's had weight loss surgery. A lot of times they are. It's one of those things you can also share your meal, whatever you're doing. But knowing ahead of time, kind of like how much you want to order, what you want to can help. Even if you get there at the restaurant and you look at the menu, that's okay too. But just try not to make any kind of regrettable last minute decisions that make you uncomfortable for the meal, for after the meal, for the rest of the day, that type of thing. Um, Sometimes, let's say you're pre-op and you're going to a restaurant, or you're like in your liquid diet before surgery, or you're very fresh post-op and you're going out to eat with friends. It's not even a bad thing, I don't think, to bring a few little essentials along with you. You could bring a protein shake. You could bring some cheese. You could bring some, um, I'm trying to think of little liquid snacks, something that you could pack along and have in your purse, or something that would be there for you so you're not overly hungry and you can just enjoy the company of your friends without having to really eat a whole lot, can be helpful. Another little idea is if you, when planning ahead, one other big thing that I think myself, along with a lot of other weight loss surgery patients, um, and a couple of these, it looks like Tanisha just asked me, can you see me on here? None of you guys are on screen. All of you, we can see your names in the chat box, but we cannot see you on screen. So you're not visible. The only time you would be seen on screen is if you were invited on screen and you approved of that. But typically on these support groups, we usually just have you guys in the chat box and just talking kind of back and forth so that you can do whatever you're doing at home, kind of multitasking or whatever, listen in and just enjoy without having to comb your hair or put on a shirt. Who knows, it's kind of like with Zoom calls, you just have to be decent from here up. It doesn't matter in the back. It doesn't matter what you wear down here. Um, so yeah, we can't see you on screen unless we invite you. And if we invite you on screen, you will be prompted with a little pop-up that'll say, would you like to go on screen? And then you approve of it. And thanks, Dawn. I appreciate you appreciating that we're hosting these. We love it. It's part of my favorite part of my job is being here with you guys. So kind of getting back to the planning ahead, one of the things is kind of thinking about if you're early on, if you're later on, it may not be an issue, but if you're early on, kind of being more cautious with new foods as you try them. Sometimes certain types of meats, so certain types of vegetables or fruit can be a little hard or harder to digest. And so being cautious of that, maybe just eating a small amount to see how your body tolerates can be helpful. And also picking maybe deciding who's going to pick to go out to eat. Because sometimes, if you have a little say so on it, you can pick a place that's a little better and a place that you can tolerate a little more. Um, that type of thing. So I do speak up, especially initially. And if you don't feel like you can speak up, bring something along that you think that you can have, especially if you're like on that pre-op liquid diet or post-op, fresh post-op. So the next thing, number 2. Okay, I'm looking to see if any comments. And guys, please feel free to jump in if you have anything that you want to add. These are support groups. We're here to support each other. So, will you mark I was here? Yes. Anytime anybody signs on to any of these support groups, we take an attendance list and it will show you were active live on the call. It will also show if you were active on the replay. So we send those attendance lists. Some facilities request us to send those to them. And if you have agreed to allow us to send you your name, we send them. And so that you get, uh, shows that you attended. Basically, some insurances require that, some programs require that. So yeah, you're checked off that you're here. I hope I answered your question. Number 2, let's be familiar with menu descriptions. And so whether your chicken is breaded or fried or creamed, scalloped or gratin, all of those things can mean like extra calories and fat. So some options that might be a little better as far as lower fat, lower sugar, lower carbs might be things that are poached, roasted, broiled, steamed, stir fried. Those things are typically lower in fat. Some menus will even include like a little star or some type of little asterisk. I know Applebee's has a little apple. So some things will show that they're healthier versions. And so those things might be easier to pay attention to. You can even ask the waitress, you could even tell them I'm looking for healthier options that are lower in fat, higher in protein, and that I might be able to tolerate a little better. If you feel comfortable letting them know that you've had weight loss surgery, and that you're only can eat so much, you can even share that with them. Some programs, like bariatric surgery programs, will offer something that they call like a restaurant card. And that restaurant card will show that you had weight loss surgery, and you can present that to the restaurant and let them know that you've had surgery, and then they don't always have to honor allowing you to have a lower priced menu item, like a kids menu item. But sometimes they will. And sometimes that can save you a little money and save you not having to throw half your meal away or bring it home and having 10 other meals if you don't really want that. And it looks like I have a couple more comments because I'm gonna read those too. So Dawn says, I'm 7 months post-op and my husband and I usually share a meal, but he gets the potatoes and bread. Yeah, potatoes and bread can really fill you up and doesn't allow much room for, the stuff that your bariatric program probably recommends, like the proteins and things like that. So, um, yeah, my husband too. He loves the bread. Kathy says, in the first few weeks, I would take a packet of protein shake and shaker jar and ask for water. I have a small card from my surgeon's office that explains my food restrictions. You can show this at the restaurant if they ask. I never had anyone ask. Yeah. And really and truly, I think a lot of restaurants would be open to giving you a smaller menu item if they knew that you had bariatric surgery. Some people feel comfortable sharing, some don't. I've only heard of a couple restaurants, like patients have shared with me before, a couple restaurants they had bad experiences with. And really and truly, I guess that's the restaurants. Uh, it's their judgment call. I mean, they don't have to offer that. Billy says, hi, everybody. This is Billie Jean Shy. I will getting bariatric surgery in December. Congratulations. We have actually quite a few pre-op people here. I was reading up there earlier. Cherry says, I'm 2 years in and still having a hard time with my vitamins, which is best. Yeah, well, we can talk about vitamins. We'll talk about that here towards the end as I'm going to kind of share a few things since ProCare is our sponsor, and I can definitely help you with some tips about taking them because I've struggled before too. For those of you who don't know me, I didn't even really introduce myself. Um, I'll give you just a short lowdown. So my name is Brenda. I've been with ProCare Health for about a year and a half. I met them as I was a bariatric surgery coordinator for a weight loss surgery program in Missouri for about 7.5 years. We sold their vitamins out of our clinic, and it was sad. Our program ended up closing back in, well, 2011 when COVID hit. And I reached back out to ProCare, and they offered me a position, and I decided to start consulting for them. So I do these live events. I also network with surgery facilities and patients, and my overall goal is just to help you guys' journey be better. I had weight loss surgery back in 2013. I had the sleeve gastrectomy, and it's been a wonderful tool for me to help me stay in line. And it's also given me so much insight into what you guys need and what helps you because it's much easier being on that journey and being able to share that with other people. And also, working with patients pre and post op, I also was able to get a lot of input from them and what worked for them. So, hoping to share that. I also have loved personal development. That's why I think support groups are one of my favorite things to do. And so I've studied personal development probably for the last 20 years. I'm certified as a healing touch practitioner, which is just certification in healing from Healing Beyond Borders. So I try to bring some of those little tools and techniques. And then also, I'm a certified coach through the John Maxwell program. So try to help with all that. And it looks like we have Tanisha says, my surgery is December 13th. Oh my goodness, less than a month. I'm 25. It's life changing, Tanisha. I bet everybody in here can tell you that it was one of the best things they ever done. Rarely have ever heard anybody saying they wish they wouldn't have done it. Maybe those first couple weeks after surgery, because those are pretty, for some people, can be a little difficult, but overall, it's such an amazing tool. It's a tool. Sherry says, thank you. Say LOL. Erin says, pre-op waiting on Wellstar and United Healthcare to come to an agreement. Oh, I know. Our hospital that we work for had a issue with United Healthcare, and it did work. So that's promising for you. They were able to come to agreement for the hospital I work for. So hopefully that'll work for you, Erin. And Kathy says, now 3 years post-op, I just sometimes order Appetizers or sides instead of an entree. Yes, that's a great idea. I do that too. Uh-huh. Sherry, congrats. Kathy says hello. Keep the comments coming. Daniel says, I had a surgery with Wellstar, Dr. Menarche, and he was the absolute best. I love Wellstar. We have a relationship with them. Have any of you been on my calls with Wellstar? We actually had one recently. Let me know. Tanisha says, will my skin go back to the same? Everybody's different. Everybody's skin has different elasticity. My skin, I did not require any plastic surgery. I feel pretty toned, but I did do some activities while I was post-op. I still do activities like some fitness stuff. Um, but we've also interviewed people on our program that have had plastic surgery. So it's kind of a choice. It's not required by any means. Everybody's different. It kind of depends on how much weight loss you've had, maybe what your age is, what your elasticity of your skin is. Um, Danielle says, yes, I'm looking forward to the next call. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying that. I'm glad you're enjoying my calls. And Billy says, congratulations, Nisha. Yeah, for all of you guys that's pre-op, it is one exciting journey. I'm so glad you're here because it helps so much to have support. When I was going through weight loss surgery, I am not alone either. Like I had one of my colleagues that I worked with, her name was Chantel, and she was right there with me. She had surgery a couple months before me, and she was an amazing person to go through everything with. We would talk about different things. We would share what worked for us as far as eating. We go to lunch together. After lunch, a lot of times we take a walk to let things digest a little better. Donna says, I'm from Maryland. I'm 13 months post-op. I did gain a little back and now on track. However, my weight is not dropping like it was. I'm walking and added running on treadmill and have reduced the carbs. I was going overboard with it. Am I being expecting too much as far as dropping weight? Honestly, yeah, probably. I mean, like after that first year, it does go off a little slower, but you can do it. Like you can do it. My first year, um, I lost I want to say 55 pounds because my body mass index was like right at 35 when I had surgery. I was 220. So I lost 55 my first year and I lost another 15 my second year. And then I stabilized out for about 3 or 4 years and I gained a few pounds back. And now I'm just kind of like getting back into the groove of making sure I'm kind of monitoring more my eating, becoming more intentional, trying to drink more water, making sure I'm getting lots of protein in. I've really been focusing on my fitness. So I think, it's one of those things. It's a lifelong journey. It doesn't end at that 1 year mark. But you can definitely lose more. You just gotta look at what you're doing, maybe shift a few little things. For me, the biggest things this last year, I lost 8 pounds this last year just by making small changes. My small changes were drinking more water. I had gotten to the point where I wasn't drinking my water, focusing on how much protein I was eating, making sure I was getting enough protein in. Most programs recommend 60 to 90 grams of protein. So focusing on that, if you're eating that, you're going to be eating less of other stuff. Focusing in on eating fruits and vegetables because those things will fill you up without giving you a lot of calories. Um, and I'm looking at you guys' comments, and it looks like we have all kinds of stuff. Mystic is waiting for a skin removal in January. Yes, we did a program here recently with Instagram influencer. Her name is Sleeve Brittany Alone, and if you go into our Cradcast channel, you can find that recent episode. She talks about her weight loss surgery. She talks about her plastic skin surgery. She's very open about it. Sometimes that's helpful, if you're looking to see what to expect and that type of thing. So, Danielle says, I'm almost 3 months post-op and started at 363 and now I'm 315. Donna says, thank you. Um, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. That's a lot of weight loss. And I want to say here too, one of the big things is everybody's journey is different. Like it is so easy to compare ourselves to other people and where we're at. Like that's a tremendous amount of weight loss. for me, my weight loss was a little slower because I didn't have as much to lose. And so if I would have compared myself to some of the other people, there was two other people that had weight loss surgery the same day I did. I had it by the surgeon that ran our program. Um, and so one of the guys had a body mass index of 60 something, maybe 66 or something, 65, and my BMI was 35. At around 6 months, he had lost 100 pounds and I had lost maybe 45 pounds. Now, was I happy? Absolutely. I was ecstatic. That was the most weight I had lost in a long time. Was he happy? Yes, he was ecstatic. But, we can't compare ourselves to other people. Please remember that. Mystic said, I wish my insurance paid for my arms also. And I'm going to type in her name. Her name was her Instagram name. I'm going to tap it in the chat box. Is Brittany. I think I'm spelling this right. Brittany Sleeve Alone. You can also look on, I'm going to also here real quickly put, I think I put it up earlier, our channel, where you can find episodes, but I'm going to put that on there. She's under the replays, so later you're welcome to go back and listen to her replay. It's really super interesting. There's for the replays of all of our different events, not specific to hers, all of them. So you just have to look under replays. I'm going to kind of go back here and we're going to go to number 3. So our number 1 thing was plan ahead. Number 2 was be familiar with menu descriptions. Number 3 is prioritize your protein. Okay. Um, Somebody mentioned here earlier about eating appetizers. One of my favorite things is to eat like an appetizer like shrimp, grilled shrimp, or something like that that is like all protein. But you could even order a side of something if you wanted to, a side of chicken or a side of meat of some type, fish or something, and then order a small little side of whatever else you want. Maybe it's a baked potato, or maybe it's broccoli, or maybe it's just whatever it is, having smaller portion sizes. So if you prioritize your protein, what will happen is it'll leave you feeling more satisfied, less hungry. It also acts as really an effective fuel for our body. So I'm going to talk about food as fuel. Because if you start thinking about food as fuel, it's like putting gas in your gas tank. It helps you go and helps you have a smooth ride. If you put excuse my language, but shitty gas in your gas tank, it's gonna not go very well. It's gonna putt along and it's not gonna get you where you want to go as quickly and as efficiently. So, um, we're going to be having another live come up talking about making your plate. Okay. And so if you put half your plate is veggies, a fourth is protein, and a fourth is like grains and starches, um, you'll find a good balance of carbohydrates, fats, and protein. So a half as vegetables, a fourth as protein, and a fourth as grains or starches. So when you order or order out, choose things high and lean in protein, things like eggs or chicken or fish or beans or tofu or as mentioned before, a protein appetizer. So whatever works for you. And Cedric says, oh, hi, Cedric. Cedric's back. I know he's been on here before. He says, is it he or she? I hope I'm saying it right. Cedric, I usually order a side of grilled chicken. That's that is that's great. Yeah, because really a lot of times you can't eat a lot more than that, especially if you're early on. Sorry about the pop-ups, guys. I'm gonna delete that. I don't know if you guys can see pop-ups as they're coming up. Um, it's a wonderful thing. Just ordering like a little side of this or that. Sherry says, since I have my bypass, I can't eat eggs at all, and I love eggs. You know what? A lot of people will struggle with that. Sherry, how far out are you? Because for some people that happens early on, and then later on they that tolerance it gets better. Like you're able to, a lot of people are able to tolerate them at a later phase. Usually, a lot of people are able to have eggs early on, right after surgery, and sometimes they're just a little hard to digest. So if you're early on, you're 2 years. Oh, wow. We had somebody on our program earlier that said that they had a hard time with hard-boiled eggs. Is it any kind of eggs that you have a problem with, or just hard-boiled? Curious. Um, so waiting, and also certain types of beef. So on our call, on another support group call earlier, we talked about certain types of meat, proteins, since we're talking about proteins here. Sometimes they're a little harder to digest after surgery. The big thing about remembering, make sure there's moisture in your meat. By that, I mean, make sure that there's some type of juice or something that keeps it moist. That'll make it go down easier, help it digest easier. Another huge hint is cutting things up in very small little pieces and chewing them really well. For me, right after surgery, I had a really hard time with steak. I had a hard time with pork. And unless I did those things, unless I made sure they were moist, unless I made sure that I cut them up really small and I chewed them really well and I ate really slow, I'd be uncomfortable. And what are we talking about here as far as being comfortable or tolerance to foods? Just means that sometimes foods after surgery, maybe eggs, oh, any eggs at all. So eggs or certain types of meat, not everybody's like this, but sometimes there'll be certain things that may be harder to tolerate. So by that, I mean, maybe they make you nauseated. They may come back up like vomiting. Probably not that really for me. I've really only had one episode with that, and that was pretty close after surgery. I just ate too much. But intolerance would be maybe nausea, sick to your stomach, belly pain, that type of thing. Okay. Um, Kathy says, my surgeon's office said no bite larger than a dime. So I put a dime on the table so I could check size. Oh, that's a fantastic idea. And some of the biggest things that surgeons will tell people, I've heard it over and over again because, again, I worked with a surgeon for years, is um, make sure you're not eating too fast. If you're sick, if you're finding yourself being sick, like nauseated over and over after surgery, or you're finding yourself throwing up, or you find yourself not feeling well after you eat, the biggest things is make sure that your eating is slow, that you're not eating too fast, that you're not eating too much at a time, that you're chewing your food well, that you're taking small bites. All of those things are the hugest things. If it's none of those things, if it's not a behavior, because not a lot of times it will be behavior related that you're feeling that way. If it's not a behavior, then you would need to have it checked with your doctor's office because there could be something anatomical going on, a stricture, like narrowing in that area. Billy says you need to use a CPAP machine. And somebody else says, I have lost the feed. Oh, I hope it comes back. I hope the internet, it's just an internet thing, hopefully. Billy says about the CPAP machine. I personally didn't have a CPAP machine, but I can tell you it is really common for a lot of people who, before weight loss surgery, a lot of people who have excess weight are on a CPAP machine, have sleep apnea issues. It's one of the biggest things that they test for prior to surgery, making sure because your quality outcome will be so much better if you have a CPAP machine after surgery. In fact, anesthesia wise, it's super important, making sure you're getting good oxygenation after surgery, and also sleep helps you with weight loss. I know that sounds really silly, but you got to be getting adequate sleep. Your hormone levels will be more intact. Your body healing wise will be more intact. So, fortunately enough, a lot of times after people lose weight within that first year, a lot of people will have a repeat sleep studies. And what will happen is they'll get to have that sleep apnea machine go away. So hopefully that'll be the case with you. Do you have contact information we could contact you off of here? Absolutely. I'm gonna write on here my email. Painby at procarenow.com. You can absolutely send me a message. I will answer them. Cedric says, eating too fast is the worst and it will make you get back to your nutritional training immediately. Yes, this is the thing. I love that you said that because all of these patterns, all of these patterns that we've learned for so long, it helps you retrain yourself. And that's what helps you lose weight. To me, that's how it's so much different than a diet. The surgery is a tool and it helps you with keeping intact and making sure that you do these things. So you eat too fast after weight loss surgery and you get nauseated, you get sick, and you think, I am never going to do that again. Tomorrow, you do the same thing. You eat too fast. This is me at least. I'm a slow learner. I'm a slow learner. You eat too fast again. What happens? You get sick. Most of the time, if you eat too fast, all you have to do though is you just, for me, it was always just either taking a walk so that things kind of settle in my stomach or just waiting. Waiting about 30 minutes, it typically goes away. Zofran's a wonderful thing. It's for nausea. Um, Next day, eating too fast, doing the same thing. What happens is after a while, finally get smart and you finally understand I cannot eat fast. Does anybody else have the same problem? Anybody else a fast eater? I was a fast eater. Kathy says at least 20 chews per bite. Put your fork down between bites and count 50 slowly after swallowing and before taking another bite. Meals last 20 minutes. Even now I don't do this. I have more discomfort. Yeah, it helps to time yourself or to make yourself accountable for what you're doing um, because it does help. It does help to have that slowing down, like making it more mindful. I even had people tell me before surgery, they're like, Brenda, you were such a fast eater. I'm like, I know, I can't help it, but I did help it afterwards. I am much slower eater now, and I am more mindful because I don't like getting sick. Sherry says, what about drinks? Bob says, foamies will get your attention. Cindy says, oh, yes. Dawn says, yes, I'm having trouble relearning how to eat and slowing down. Elsie says, I'm a fast eater. Yeah, I mean, for many of us, it's how you grow up. I was from a big family. During my nursing career, you just eat fast, you eat on the run, you have fast lifestyle. I don't know. I make excuses. It all comes down to behaviors and retraining your behaviors. Um, Drinks. You ask about drinks. So drinks, and that might even be on my little list of things to talk about. But when you get to a restaurant and you order a drink, um, I don't know if you're talking about a restaurant, but if you're talking about drinks in general too. So it's usually typically recommended not to drink anything 30 minutes before you eat, 30 minutes after you eat. And the reason being is because if you put fluids in your stomach, it's going to fill up your belly and it's going to make it harder to get down the protein and the fuel that you need for your body. Okay. Why wait 30 minutes after? Because that takes a while for your food to digest, and you don't want to rinse everything through your stomach really quickly either, because then it's like a funnel. Then everything just kind of goes through, and then you're hungry again. So 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after, waiting. Now, if you get hungry in between, there's nothing wrong with taking a sip and kind of washing things down. But I would say for the most part, try to limit yourself with that major bolus of fluids if you can. As far as like alcohol and things like that, I don't know if you're talking about drinks that way, but alcohol is kind of one of those things that some surgeons will make recommendations on. Some surgeons say no, never. Some surgeons say after the first year. Some say after a certain amount of time, maybe 6 months. It kind of depends on your surgeon, your medical history, your background, all of that. Now, there can be problems with alcohol dependency or alcohol addiction after weight loss surgery, because what happens is you can't eat, so then you drink. You go from one addiction to another. So just kind of being aware of those things can be helpful. But going to a restaurant and drinking, what I'll do is I'll just order a water, because it's almost expected you order something. If you don't order something, they keep asking. So I just set the water down, and typically I don't even drink it while I'm there. If I do, trying to think, my surgery is 2012, so I'm about 9 years out. Sometimes I will have alcoholic beverages if I do. Usually what happens is I really can't eat very much, to be honest, even now, how far out I am, because it just fills me up. And if I do eat something, it's going to be not a whole lot. See what else I have here. A lot of you are saying you drink, don't drink with eating. Waiting 30 minutes, practice setting a timer. That's a great suggestion. Suggestion on getting fluids when you can't drink before or after a meal. I just can't seem to figure this out. Yes, I do have some suggestions for that. Acid reflux. Acid reflux. So acid reflux, let's talk about that first, and then we'll talk about getting in fluids. So acid reflux, um, is one of those things pre-op that can be an issue for a lot of people. It's probably one of the most common. Sometimes it's caused by a hiatal hernia. Most of the time, surgeons will check you for a hiatal hernia or ask you a series of questions. If you have a hiatal hernia surgery is one of the more common surgeries that they can do along with weight loss surgery, and it helps to fix that reflux issue. Um, some surgeries are a little better at fixing reflux. Gastric bypass surgery may be the best bet if you have terrible reflux, but that's something to talk to your surgeon about. I had the sleeve gastrectomy. Sometimes reflux can be worsened by sleeve gastrectomy. For the most part, I do pretty well with reflux now. I did have some reflux before surgery. Periodically now, if I eat something, um, in the evenings and it has maybe a little bit too much fat in it or something that can cause increased acid production, sometimes I will still have a little reflux. But it did get better, I would say, after surgery than before, even with having the sleeve myself. Some people will say the sleeve worsens. But again, there is a procedure called a hiatal hernia repair. If you have a hiatal hernia, sometimes that can be a contributor to acid reflux. Does that make sense? I hope. I hope that helped. And then talking about getting in fluids. Tia says, I just ask for a water to go and just take it with me at the end of the day. Then they stop trying to push drinks on you. That's a wonderful idea. I love the to-go drink thing. I've done that before too. It's super helpful. Ask for a to-go cup, ask for a to-go plate so that you can put half your food in that. Those are two great suggestions. As far as water, getting it in during the day, for me, carrying, I have a hydro flask I bought. I don't know if you guys can see that hydro flask. It has a screw-on lid because I don't really like the straws. Some people like the straws, but I just keep it with me, and that helps me remember to drink. I also, that was my daughter's suggestion. She's like, Mom, you got to learn to start drinking more. And she's a big drinker of water. She told me to buy one. So I did, and it does help. Also, having certain parameters that you want to have certain amounts drank by, maybe like 9 o'clock in the morning, because that's kind of midday. Maybe one of these hydro flasks by 9 o'clock. Have another flask drank by 3 o'clock and then another one by dinner. Depends on how much you want to drink in a day. Usually 64 ounces is what's recommended, so that would be about 3 of these, I think. Hope that helps. Setting a timer can help for some people with getting fluids in. Some of these will have you can buy bigger ones and it'll tell you um you've drank this much, you drank this much, you need to keep going. It'll have times of the day. On Amazon, there's lots and lots of different ones. There's even one I saw this last weekend. I went to a bariatric retreat in San Diego, and somebody had a flask that had a light on the bottom, and it actually talked to them and said, drink more. I guess it had a timer that went off. I thought that was hilarious. Um, Tony says, I love straws, but they say you can't use them right after surgery. How long should you wait? Our surgery program used to tell everybody that, and then they kind of started going away from it because some people couldn't drink unless they had a straw. They were so accustomed to it. Ask your surgeon, see what they say. For me, I could tell a little bit of a difference initially drinking with a straw because it just puts a little extra air in your stomach. It kind of can make you feel a little uncomfortable. So everybody's a little different, but you could talk to your surgery program and see what they recommend because recommendations vary from surgery to surgery program. Um, Sherry says, my surgeon said, don't use straws because you drink more fluids. Interesting. And Star says, I only lost 40 pounds after my sleeve surgery, and it has been 8 months, and I have plateaued. We actually have done some of these on plateaus and regain. It was one of I think our very first session of the schedule. See if you can access it in our crowdcast, and that might be helpful. Like the big thing is going back to the basics. And I know it sounds so silly because we say that all the time, but going back to the basics, getting really intentional about what you're doing, the little tiny small things is what make the biggest difference. Like for me, what helped me the most is just drinking more water, getting a little bit more exercise, getting a little bit more protein, focusing on vegetables. It sounds so simple, but it makes the biggest difference. It's not like huge and life changing. And it was a little slow for me. Like it's been 4 or 5 months that it's taken me to lose 8 pounds back. So I don't know if that's helpful. Apps are great. Elsie's saying apps are great. They'll help you remind you. Yes, they'll help you remind you with vitamins. They'll help you remind you with your fluids. They also they'll help you be really mindful about what you're taking in to know if you're getting enough protein. A lot of them will track that. If you're getting enough calories in, if you're getting too much calories in. A lot of programs won't tell you how many calories. They'll just say they want you to get in this much protein. And then making sure that you're doing that will help you cut down on the other foods. Aaron says, I'm nervous I will eat too much next week because I love Thanksgiving. I know. You know what? The big thing is like making your plate, putting some of the things on it that you love, but just like really watching your portion size. The portion size is the hugest thing. Like you don't have to deprive yourself of so many things. I saw a post on a bariatric surgery group today, and people can be really hateful sometimes. And this person said, I'm leaving this group because everybody's telling me I can't have some of the things I want. I think she was mentioning pizza. And to me, life is life. Enjoy life. Become friends with food. Become friends with food. Um, Enjoy the things you eat, but be more intentional about them and really watch your portion size. Focus on certain goals maybe for yourself. That might be helpful. I hope that helped. Hannah says, I was having a tough time hitting my 64 ounces a day. I wear a mask all day long and was finding it tough having to take off my mask and open up the bottle to drink. I asked my PA if I could try a straw, and she was a little hesitant but said, sip slowly and try it. And if it doesn't make bother your stomach, then I can continue using it. VSG 7 1 of 21. Love the Berrytastic app. Yes, I do too. And I love it too. How are you doing with a straw then? How are you doing after that? I do okay with a straw. It's just that I've conditioned myself to kind of drinking without one. I can understand with the mask though. Whenever I'm driving in the car and I'm drinking, a straw is helpful because otherwise you spill everything. You spill it everywhere. I'm bad about spilling stuff on myself. It says, can you talk more about the 12 strategies? Yes, let's get back. We have a little bit more time, and I'm gonna cover all these. We're gonna get back on track, and we're gonna do this. Um, so number one, going back for those of you who might just be joining, plan ahead. Number two is be familiar with menu descriptions, making sure you're ordering the correct kinds of foods. Number three is prioritizing your protein, making sure you're getting enough protein. Number four, ask about serving sizes. And we talked about the to-go box, okay? Saving half of the meal, saving a third of the meal for the next day. Could be 3 meals that you get off of that one meal. Um, and we talked about the restaurant cards, how helpful that is. The next thing, number five is, so four is ask about serving sizes. Number five is asking about ingredients and how the food is prepared. So When talking about this, ask how the vegetables are prepared. Are they stir fried? Is there extra oils added in? Can your salad dressings be placed on the side instead of being served on the salad? To me, it's really helpful to have the salad dressing on the side, and I'll just take my salad and dip just a tiny little bit of my fork in the salad dressing and take a bite with the salad, and literally can only, and sometimes only use just a tiny bit of the salad dressing with my salad because I'm portioning it. Aim for condiments that are lower in calories when we're talking about ingredients and preparation, things like mustards or pickle relish or balsamic vinegar or salsa. Um, Again, things that are broiled or baked or steamed or poached are excellent choices. And many entrees are often basted with a lot of fat. So, have the entree prepared without the added fat. If you go to a good restaurant, I think they'd be willing to do that for you. Maybe request lemon juice. And even fast food restaurants too. If you're going through a drive-through, let's say McDonald's, a lot of times you can ask for no bun. You can ask for extra lettuce or tomato. You can ask for less condiments, if you don't want mayonnaise and that type of thing. So that's the big thing about serving sizes. I'm sorry, that was number five. Number five. Okay. And I'm watching our time. Number six, don't be afraid to use substitutions. Okay. And what I mean by that is if you want to make changes to your meal. So let's say you want to substitute fresh or steamed vegetables in place of like rice or pasta or French fries, or maybe ask for a salad instead of pub chips. Other variations may include like low fat or non fat milk, light or broth based soups instead of, and sometimes even fresh fruit is available. It may not even be on the menu, but you can ask them and see if they have that. So if you're early on in your bariatric diet, you can even ask for certain things. Like let's say they have a chicken noodle soup, but you just want the broth. You could ask them if you could have just the broth. That's an idea. Um, just some other things. And also, some restaurants will allow you to order heart healthy options, which just means that it's cooked in things like olive oil versus butter. Um, and if you have a waiter or waitress that seems like they're a little hesitant with kind of listening to what you're asking them, you could also ask to talk to their manager and just say, is it possible that I could maybe have, and you can say it in a nice way. You don't have to be rude or anything like that. Just say, especially if they're new and they just don't know, just say, is it possible just to check? Because I'd really like to have something prepared a little healthier. I'm really trying to watch. I have to be careful what I eat, that type of thing. Okay, we're going on. Number seven. This is a big thing we talked about earlier, skipping the bread or chips. Okay. And so this is one of the hardest things for me. I don't know anybody else. Anybody else have that problem? So chips and sometimes even bread can be what we call a slider food, especially chips. What a slider food is things that are easily chewed up, easily go down, and they just slide through your stomach, and you don't feel as full as you do with other types of foods. Soda crackers, things like that, things that just kind of just move through your belly. Cindy says yes. So bread can be pretty filling. I find bread filling, but it's one of those things that's going to fill you up where you're not going to be able to eat your protein. You're not going to be able to eat your meal. Sometimes if I do want to try some of those things, sometimes what I'll do is just portion off a very small amount, put it on my plate, and then tell myself that's what I got. Like, not to continuously grab from the bowl mindlessly and continue eating. And it's so easy to do when it's sitting in front of you and everybody else at the table is doing that. So, um, it's a way of just portioning off. If you are wanting to eat the bread, include it as part of what you would be eating for your meal. We were talking about making a meal. So eat something less of something else. Just eat when you do get your meal, just eat the protein. It's about looking at what you're eating and making the most of it. But bread and chips can be really big fillers and not allow you to eat your whole meal. A lot of times those are served as appetizers. Another big thing, so that was number 7. Okay, and we're going to summarize here in just a moment. Chips are your downfall too, yes. My favorite meal is Mexican, and you go to a Mexican restaurant, and almost 99.9% of the time they serve chips right away off the bat. Now, the salsa isn't so bad, I guess if you were making use of the salsa and not so much of the chips, wouldn't be such a bad thing because salsa is pretty good. It's low calorie, it's vegetables, hardly any fat. But anyways, the chips can fill you up. Number 8, caution at the salad bar. So be careful with salad dressings, toppings, creamy salads, things like potato salad, macaroni salad, coleslaw. A lot of times those are higher in fat and calories. So maybe just use them sparingly, a little teaspoon or tablespoon of those things if you're just wanting to try them. Again, it's about portion size and kind of like looking at the overall picture of everything you're eating. Okay. Um, and salads can be filling, sometimes people tolerate lettuce. Sometimes they don't. So be aware of how your body reacts to it. Just eat a small amount first if it's one of your first times trying it. Avoid desserts. So by avoiding desserts, sometimes sometimes it's hard to completely avoid it. What I'm going to say here is they can contain unnecessary calories and sometimes cause dumping syndrome. If you've had a gastric bypass surgery, what can happen is a syndrome called dumping, which just means literally you put something with a high sugar content into your stomach. And what happens is sugar draws fluid into it. It's kind of like when you take a visual picture is if you take a bowl of strawberries and you pour sugar over them, and all at once the strawberries are all liquidy. What happens is the liquid's drawn out. So the same thing happens in your stomach. It's like the sugar content draws in all this extra fluid and things just move through your GI tract very quickly. So what can happen is it can cause you to feel like you have to go to the bathroom, like have a bowel movement pretty quickly. Another thing it can do is that high sugar content can actually be absorbed very quickly and spike your blood sugar, make your blood sugar go up really quickly. And in that can make you feel nauseated, make your heart feel like it's beating really fast, and just really uncomfortable. The symptoms don't last very long. I mean, usually within 30 minutes, the symptoms are gone, but it's not a good feeling. So anything with a high sugar content can make you feel bad. If you are trying desserts, what I'd say is just take a 1 bite or 2 bites of something. It doesn't have to be like a whole serving. Share it with your table, share it with your friends. A lot of times we'll order a dessert and then just everybody takes a little piece off of it and you can share it around the whole table. The next thing, number 10, we have 12 here. And I think I said 12. So we're almost there, guys. Is skip the liquid calories. So things like cocktails can be high in calories. Okay. There's mocktails out there. If you're looking for alcoholic drinks that are lower in calories, things like vodka with water or vodka with uh, just water and lemon, whiskey or gin, things like that. They don't have the bubbles in them either, which sometimes can fill your belly up. And again, I'm hesitant to really even talk about alcohol that much because some programs recommend it and some programs don't. I'm on my call. What time? 30 minutes. Yeah. I'm sorry. My son was coming in. I'm at his house because my internet's slow. So watching your calories, liquid calories can be calories. And then make conversation a focal point. Be conversational. That's number 11. Be conversational with the people that are in the room. Make that the engagement. Engage in conversation, engage in laughter, engage in that developing a relationship with the person you're with. Make that the high point instead of the food. I mean, food is wonderful. There's no reason not for that not to highlight that as well. But Make the relationship, the people you're with, enjoy that as well. And number 12, when you're done with your meal, set it aside and place it in somewhere where you're not going to keep taking. Because what happens is we think, okay, 10 minutes from now, you'll start picking on it again. Just stop. So I'm going to go over those 12. Kathy says sometimes fried foods can also bring on dumping syndrome. Yeah. Has anybody had that from fried foods? That's interesting. I'm going to go over the 12 again. Number 1, plan ahead. Decide what you want to order. Look at your portion sizes. Make sure what you're ordering is going to lead to helping you feel good afterwards, helping fuel your body. Number 2, be familiar with the menu descriptions, whether it's something fried, creamed, scalloped versus something broiled or steamed. Okay, kind of be familiar with how things are cooked. Number 3, prioritize your protein. Make it one of the first things you're eating. Prioritize your vegetables. Make them one of the biggest things on your plate. Number 4, ask about serving sizes, portion sizes. Ask for children's meals. Ask for an appetizer size. Ask for a side so you don't have these huge plates stacked on top of each other. Number 5, ask about ingredients. What's in what you're ordering. Okay. And if it's not something you want, ask if you can have a substitution. That was number 6. Ask for substitutions. Number 7, either skip the bread or chips or just make sure you're limiting yourself to the portion sizes. Okay. Number 8, caution at the salad bar. Be careful with overdoing it with some of the things that have high calorie content, high fat content. Number 9, avoiding or decreasing the amount of the extra desserts that you're eating. Okay. I don't want to say all or nothing. Okay. Number 10, decreasing your liquid calories. Number 11, making conversation the focal point. And number 12, when you're done with your meal, set it aside and ask for a to-go plate or just ask for it to be taken off the table. So that is everything that I have here. I am going to share with you guys a discount code that I have for you tonight. I got to look it up here on my phone because that was sent to me for being a part of our wonderful little group here tonight. We have November S or Nov SG. So I'm going to write that down here in the comment box for you guys. NOVSG for 10% off any order at ProCare now. ProCare Health. And I'll put the www.procarenow.com. And if you guys aren't familiar with ProCare, I'm going to kind of just share my screen real quickly and I'm going to show you the website so you can see, you can get yourself a free sample. Love to give you guys a free sample. So here on this page is the ProCare site, procarenow.com. Here you're going to find over here, free sample. You click this. If you've not tried us before, get a free sample. Here's you put your name, your last name. This little form takes like literally 1 minute to fill out. If there's something special you're wanting, put it down here in the message. Otherwise, you guys are going to get just a package of things. So it's fun. It's kind of a fun little thing to get in the mail. If you're wanting to know more about our support groups, here is about us, more about us and our support groups. So you can look down that. We have lots of different, here's where we put our handouts for all of our support groups. So if you listen to one of our other programs, all the different handouts are listed there. I also want to mention products. What ProCare Health is known for, since they're our sponsor, I'm going to kind of tell you they're known for. They were the first company to create see if I can get it in the camera, a 1-a-day bariatric multivitamin. Okay. First company out there. And also their prices. I mean, my God, where else can you find a vitamin that's $11.99 a month? So those are the two biggest things. Size-wise, pretty easy to swallow. Here's what the little capsule, trying to get at my camera, looks like. It's pretty small. Sorry, guys, it's hard to show you on the smaller version there. But known for easy to take and digestible, easily digestible. Also, there is a chewable formula if you're one of those people who are early post-op and you want a chewable, or maybe you're further post-op and you just like the chewables. ProCare Health does have two different flavors. They have a fruit punch and a citrus. All of the bariatric vitamins come in different levels of iron, iron free, 18 milligrams of iron, or 45. So that is that. And then also under products, calcium supplements, we have these little babies right here, these calcium chocolate, dark chocolate right now. They're in season. They're something that is, I'm going to show you my bag of them. Um, they're, I'll wait until I get big screen again. They're back in stock until spring. They're seasonal. So you can get a 30 count or a 90 count bag. Use that with your discount code. Try them out. They're so delicious. We had a bonfire event and we used them for our little bonfires. Um, we also have another type of calcium. Those are chocolate bars. The other kind is our little calcium chews. So I'll just kind of briefly show you those. We have three different flavors on those. And those, all of our calcium products, the chocolate bars and the little chewables, have 500 milligrams of calcium and 500 IU of vitamin D. So usually it's recommended you take 3 of those for a bypass or sleeve, or 4 if you've had a duodenal switch to get your amounts in that you'd need. So I'm going to stop sharing there and see if you guys have any questions. See here what we have. Cindy says the calcium chews are the best out there. Thank you so much. You know what? They do not have an aftertaste. They're made with a product called TrueCal, and it is so smooth and just very easily digested, and they're so tasty. Somebody told me we at the bariatric retreat we gave each of our patients one of these bags of the calcium. And one lady came up to me the next day and she's like, I had to put them in my suitcase. I put them away. I had to give them away because I ate 8 of them. They're so good. They taste like the little caramels. Somebody said they taste like the caramels that grandmas have in their pockets, the little square caramels. I thought that was cute. Um, Hannah says, love taking one a day with iron included. I was so nervous about forgetting to take a lot of vitamins post-op. Unfortunately, my copper levels came back too high with my 3-month blood work, so I can't take anymore. Yeah, everybody's blood work's different. It's so important to go get your blood work checked periodically. Make sure that you're getting all the right levels. Usually, most programs will check your blood work before you have weight loss surgery, and then they'll check them at different increments after weight loss surgery. Donna says, I'm on automatic and take the vitamins with no warrant. I love that they come to my door. Yeah, you can get on subscription. So any of these things that you guys do with ProCare, they have a subscription, which makes your rates cheaper. I love cheaper. Um, YG says, love the dinner minute. That's my mom's favorite too. She's not had weight loss surgery. She just likes taking calcium products because her risk of osteoporosis. And so she takes the dinner minute. She loves that. Donna says, oh, dinner minute. I was wondering if those were good. Yeah, they kind of taste like dinner minute to me. And everybody's taste buds are so different. It's interesting because some people love one more than they love another. Um, we have 3 questions. I am so sorry. I'm just now getting to those. Let me look here real quick. Um, the first one, is this all about vitamins post-bariatric? Is this all about vitamins post-bariatric surgery? So that might have been earlier comment. We actually do have one of our support groups that is all about vitamins post-bariatric surgery. It's one of the sessions in these support groups. You should be able to in the series. Okay, so this is number 13 of the series. I'm kind of thinking it's middle way through the series, so you could kind of look on our Crowdcast channel and you could try to find that one if you're interested in that. Now, if you guys watch something that's like behind and you're wanting to make sure your bariatric program has your attendance to one of our past support groups, because I usually send them out right after we do the support groups. Usually I wait a week and then I send them. Let me know. You can email me. I think I sent my email earlier, but I can do that again. So if you watch something that your program may have not gotten attendance to, you can let me know. I'm sorry that's not going through. I'll try it on my other screen, my email. There we go. So we're done answering that one. I hope that helped you. Um, I'm not sure. It looks like we had a question. I don't know. Billy says Billy Shy present. I don't know what that means. I apologize. And about the skin. So we talked a little bit about skin. Do we need to have any more comments or questions about that? Let me know. Let me know if you're still with us, Tanisha and Billy. So anything else? Anything else you guys have? Our support groups usually last about an hour to an hour and a half. I try to keep them as minimal as possible, but depending on comments and all of that, I want to make sure we hit everybody's everything. So, um, if we don't have anything else, I'm going to close it out. And I just want to tell everybody that I'm so thankful that you're here. I hope this was helpful to you in some way. I appreciate everybody's input. You guys added something to this conversation. If you're listening on the replay or you're listening live here, either way, you're appreciated. Um, Thank you, Tia. I appreciate that. And Delaney said, I'm sorry I missed you. Did you say we need to email you for bariatrics? You do not have to email me. Do not have to email me if your program needs bariatrics or verification, because I will be emailing this to the bariatric surgery programs about a week post this program. So 1 week post this program, I will mail them because I always like to make sure that they have the replays as well. But if you watch one in the series that was like before, like a couple months ago or something like that, and you're wanting verification for that, yes. If you watch one of our lives, like one of our live events, our weekly live events, those typically don't count as support groups. I don't send those to programs, but I'd be happy to send it for you if it's something that you watched and you're wanting verification as an extra support. I'd be happy to do that. Um, Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, all of you. Yes, please feel free to email me. And again, if you guys want notifications of upcoming events, feel free to jump on our Crowdcast channel after this. I'm putting the link down again. Um, Follow us because that gives you notifications of upcoming events. Listen to any replays. There might be something in there that'll help you. And I look forward to our next event. Our next event is going to be, let me look here real quick. December 16th. Okay. It's meal prep made simple. And we're going to be talking about all kinds of ways of meal prep. We'll also be bringing in some holiday ideas as well with that. Okay. Thank you. How will you know our doctor? Somebody said. So if so I do have some programs that have collaborated with me and they've asked me to send their attendance list every month. So if your program's already doing that, then they'll be receiving one. But if you're not sure, send me your program's name and whoever I need to email. I need an email address, and I'll email that to them if you're not sure. But I do have a whole list of programs that I collaborate with, and list of about 20 or 30 of them. So, but you're welcome to check with me if you're not sure. I'd be happy to help you with that. Um, and everybody, thank you. I appreciate all of you, and I'll be seeing you. Our very next event is on cutting your grocery bill, and that's November 24th. We'll be doing making your plate on December 1st. We'll be having Rachel Blanton here. She's a patient. She's so sweet. She's going to be talking about fighting failures, finding freedom. We're going to be talking with Amanda Clark from Australia on December 22nd on portion perfection with holiday tips. On December 29th, we're going to be talking about collagen for skin. And then on February 17th, I'm going to mention this because this is going to be amazing. I am so excited about this. Our bariatric support groups, we're going to be offering one on self-care, and we're going to be giving away all kinds of free stuff, like all kinds. So make sure and sign up for that one. That one is a separate support group to sign up for. So again, just click that link and sign up if you want free stuff. So, and I'll put my email here again. I thought it went through, but let me try it again. Okay. And you guys, this is on replay if you missed parts of this, and I'm so sorry. I'm getting all these pop-ups, so I'm trying to get rid of those to be able to show you. So it's my last name, which is Hain, my first initial B at procarenow.com. HainB at procarenow.com. So hopefully that helps you guys. I think that's everything. So we're going to be closing things down, but thank you so much. And I appreciate each of you. Have a wonderful week, and we will see each other soon, I hope. Bye. Love ya.